What up, everybody? Welcome to the Damn Dude Podcast.
Damn, dude.
This is episode 52. I am your host, California Cal, and today, this episode is dedicated to the Tafolla family. And the reason being, and why I say that, is rest in peace to my homeboy Pablo, my brother, fucking, man, Pablo, Spidey, Puves, Tafolla, however you knew him. Rest in peace, brother. It's been fucking 14 years since he passed away. It's July 18th, 2021. And, yeah, man, we're just going to kick this shit off, like, real quick, like, you know. First of all, yeah, much love to the Tafolla family. You know, it's all love always. With this episode, I'm going to paint a picture of who Pablo was to me and why it's so important that his legacy lives on and that this is done. You know what I'm saying? I would want the same thing done about me if I passed away. So I do my best to, you know what I'm saying, keep my homies' memories alive, you know? And yeah, so, and to be honest with you guys, like, I feel like shit today, dude. Like, not in the sense of feeling sick, but more so like emotionally. I'm just like all jacked up emotionally today, dude. Like, I can't even explain exactly what. I feel like it's just because I've had so many little, like, I don't even know what to call it. Not arguments or fight. I mean, I guess argument, disagreement. I don't even know if it's that. Like, misunderstandings, I guess, would be the best thing to call it. Oh, neck is all like locked up feeling. Yeah, so I've just been off, man. But so it is what it is, and this is one of those times where in the past I would have just been like, man, fuck this. Like, I'm not gonna do this today. Like, it's all good. It doesn't need to be done, and I would have lost sight. And because I still do it when I feel like shit, that's kind of why I know and how I know, like, I really am serving my purpose to a good extent and a good degree. You know what I'm saying? And that this really is something that's for me, and that I'm going to fuck with long term, and I'm going to do really well, and I'm going to get good at and get better at it and better at it and better at it. So with that being said, this is episode 52. Welcome to the Damn Dude Podcast.
Damn, dude.
And we're calling this episode Puves Day. Pablo had to die.
Damn, dude.
And I say that respectfully. I'm not saying that in any, like, disrespectful sort of way. You know what I'm saying? Obviously. I got him tatted on my arm. You know what I'm saying? Like, absolutely no disrespect. But why I say that is because I've come to a certain understanding and a certain, yeah, I guess understanding and with myself and a certain relationship with Pablo's passing that I say it had to happen because it did happen. That's what I mean by that. And as I paint this picture and as this episode goes on, it'll really, like, make sense why I have to do this and why I keep doing this and why every year I do some sort of dedication, no matter what it is, you know? So as soon as I get done with this, I'm going to go link up with the homies and, you know, and just kick it in honor of him today. So I'm thinking about it. It's like Pablo, Puves, Spidey, however you knew him, Lil Dreamer even, you know, it depends where in the hood you're from or whatever, but, and what time period. Pablo was somebody who was so different because he was never afraid to be himself. Like, I was thinking, I'm like, dude, I'm 35 right now. And, you know, that's pretty much considered like an adult. And at the same time, I'm thinking back and our relationships were it was a teenage relationship. You know, we were teenagers. I mean, early teens. We met when we were like 13 or some shit like that, 11 or 13, something, I forget. But, you know, that was from there all the way up till when he passed away at 20. Like, he lived a crazy fucking one hell of a life, man. One thing that used to trip me out, and it would make people nervous to bring him around their family or their house and stuff, was that he never acted any different around adults or authority, meaning he was always the same. Like, he was himself, whether he was at church or he was at, from what I've seen him at home, he was the same as when he was in school, as the same as if he was in jail, as the same as if he was in a relationship, as the same as if he was out in the, just walking down the street, being in public. Like, he was the same if he was talking to cops. He was the same if he was talking to his girlfriend's parents. He was the same as if he was talking to a boss or a manager or a CEO. He was always himself. He used his language, how he spoke, and it was just like phenomenal to be able, for the fact that he was so himself that it made people nervous. And I remember I used to get nervous too. Sometimes I'd be like, all right, fool, like, just chill a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm never telling you to not be you, but all right, bro, like, we gotta, okay, everybody breathe. Like, but Puves, he just had this innocence about him that, like, you couldn't, it was like, I don't know how to explain it. It was like people were scared or offended by his language or presence or something. Not necessarily his language, but it's not that he would say bad words, but just the way he talked, like, hey, homie, yeah, like, what's up, fool? Like, so people were just already like, but like, he was so kind and so gangster that, like, people didn't know what to do with it. It's like they didn't understand. And when you're somebody who's so kind and so gangster, and we're going to get into this, it just does something to people, and it does something different. Like, that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't really meet that. That's like some superhero type shit. And that's how I always see Pablo, as like the neighborhood superhero. Damn, I'm trying to not unleash everything in one thing. I broke this all out because I kind of thought about this before. And like, this is how I break it down when I think about him and his legacy, because he absolutely left a legacy and lives a legacy. As long as I'm alive, fucking his legacy will live on. You know what I'm saying? No matter what. So, with that being said, it's like he was ahead of his time in a lot of ways. He would just do, it was weird. He had this way of like playing with people's context of life, almost like their perspective. Like, he had this way of like dipping in and out of like different perspectives and contexts that would make you think or laugh or question yourself or be like, wait, what? Like I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, dude. He had this unique way of like just kind of like wrapping you into a conversation and making you feel really like loved and like kind of and empowered by the end of it. It was a real trip. So it's like he would just be off to do random shit all the time, and we'd be like, bro, where are you going? He's like, oh, I'm gonna go make dope beats. That's it. And we're like, what? Like, he's like, I'm gonna go to the teen center. We're like, the fuck? Like, you can go to the teen center? Like, bro, like, oh, we didn't say bruh back then, but I don't know what we said back then. I don't know. Oh no, we always said fool. Like, damn, fool. Like, the fuck you gonna go to teen center for, fool? And that was how it was. That's funny, because it wasn't the A fool, like the Asian A fool, and it wasn't the like Mexican A fool. Like, it was just like this certain way that people in Mira Mesa,
I know Mira Mesa,
like would address each other when we were younger. Hey fool, like, nah fool, like like that's hella, like, you would hear that so everywhere. Hey fool, like hey fool, what's up with them, blah blah blah. Hey fool, let me get some chips. Like, hey fool, let me get some blah blah. Like, white people would say it, black people would say it, Asian people would say it, Mexicans would say it. It wasn't even necessary. It was just like a general slang thing in our town. It wasn't even like for one specific group of people. It'd be like, fool, like, come on. And I remember I used to say fool to kids a lot, and people started getting offended. Like, why'd you just call him a fool? I'm like, why'd you call him that? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you just said, oh, this fool over here. Like, why is he a fool? I'm like, oh, because he's cool as fuck. Like, What do you mean? Like, I've had like ex-girlfriends specifically from out of town or like not from here, I should say, not from San Diego or Mira Mesa even, be like, what do you mean fool? Like, and I mean, I guess it goes around San Diego, but it was very heavy in Mira Mesa. Like, yeah, fool. Like, anyway, he'd be like, yeah, fool, I'm gonna go make dope beats. I say, we're like, what the fuck? Like, okay. And he was just like, he was too gangster to be at the teen center. You know, it's like, bro, like, the fuck are you doing at the teen center? You know what I mean? It was like, the general consensus that it was like kind of nerdy to go to the teen center, like, depending on your reason for going there. Like, if you're like, oh, I'm going to the teen center, like, it was usually because you're gonna go play video games. That was kind of when like it started getting popular for like people to connect to the computers and play all that and stuff. And Counter-Strike and Quake was just kind of like fading out, and it was like Counter-Strike really started taking over. But I remember another good reason to go was like sometimes it was just like when there was nothing else to do, you fucking been hung out at the fucking Carl's Jr., the library, Taco Bell, the rec center. Like, finally, you just kind of like dwindled your way into the teen center. You're like, all right, like, maybe I'll order some fries or something, you know? I remember that was the shit. It was like, yeah, like, let's get some fries. And we just sit there and bullshit, eat some fries, whatever. But I remember Puves would always be in the fucking studio, like, there. And they had a studio, like, that was actually pretty sick, like, looking back. But at the time, it wasn't cool for everybody to be a rapper. So, like, this was right before it was cool for everybody to be a rapper and have a mixtape or some shit. So, and this is still when it was like you would make CDs and shit, and like, you know, you'd be printing your own shit and go hand them out, fucking walk around with a Walkman, hit up fools in their cars like, hey, you listen to rap? If you know about that, you know about that. Like,
I know Mira Mesa.
Dude.
I know Southeast Dago.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know that shit. You can be from LA. I'm sure they had, and you know, in New York they got it too. They got it all over, but that was the shit back then. Anyway, yeah, hey, you listen to hip hop? You listen to rap? I'm like, fuck. Like, this fool wants $10 for some shitty burnt CD where only 2 songs are his and the rest are songs he recorded off the fucking radio. Like, man, or some janky ass Napster downloads. Like, oh no, Napster wasn't even down. It wasn't even. What was it? I guess it was, but it wasn't popular yet. But anyway, so Pablo, he would go and he would always he'd be writing raps. He'd be writing poetry. He has a whole fucking book that somebody made of all of his poems after he passed away that they put into a book. And it's fucking incredible, man. It's beautiful. His poetry was off the charts, dude. Like, I would love to go back and see that again. So Norma, I want to peep that book out again, please. Or fucking essay, Mariana, if you got that, I want to see it. Anyway, he would, like I said, he was like ahead of his time. He would just do whatever. He would try anything. He was just so fearless, dude. Like, I swear, like, I don't know if he experienced fear. Like, I don't even know if he had that, like, in his makeup, like in his genetics. Like, he would just always unfiltered, always himself, and always just boom, no hesitation. It was like he already knew he had this way of just being like, when we were out in the streets and we were walking around, and it's like we were needing to survive. And that's what being gangster as fuck is all about, is like needing to survive and needing to make it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like shit was real as fuck. So with that being said, that's what I mean by when I say he was gangster as fuck, is like he was down for his and he was down for his people. And I don't mean this in this like, oh, he fucking wore the most colors and talked the most shit and blah, blah, blah. No, he was a real gangster. Like, he played by the rules. Like, the type of respect Pablo had was from adults, teachers, nerds, gangsters, different sets, different races, different everything, dude. Like, one time, and I put this on my kids, I put this on my entire fucking life. One time, Pablo walked around the school with a fucking gigantic Mexican flag. I don't know where he got this thing, but it was like Cinco de Mayo. I don't know what it was. He was just proud as fuck, and he was walking around, and these fucking white dudes on the football team were spitting on his flag and saying like, "Oh, fuck you, Beaner," blah blah blah, saying all the shit. And we're like, "Yo, like what the fuck?" And so he was gonna fight whatever, but it kind of like got broken up. Whatever, it was at lunchtime at school, and after school, I go to pick up my ex at the time, and I had just graduated. Well, no, I just got kicked out of school. That's what it was. Or I was going to. Was I going to school? I don't remember. But so I go to the high school, and we're like, I was a kid still, and we go there, and he's like, "Hey, homie," like, and him and like some and three other no, to him and two other homies. There's four of us. Him and two other homies. I think it was fucking Grumpy and fucking fuck, I forgot homie's name, dude. I can't think of it right now. But anyway, what up though? Us four went to go fight the entire football team. The entire football team. I put this on my life. Like us four, me and fucking these three other fools. We go and we fucking square up with the whole team. They're talking mad shit. And I'm just there to like back up the whole thing, you know? And I'm just there to have their back. And I'm just like, man, I don't give a fuck. Like, this is my boy. Like, Pablo would die for me. He would do anything for me. I was like, I got his back no matter what. I don't give a fuck. So we step up. And fucking all the homies, they all throw all these shanks and crowbars and all this shit, tire irons in my car. And I was like, yo, damn, like, you guys are ready. I was like, but damn, fucking heart, dude. You want to talk about heart? This shit, straight, pure heart, dude. Like, the downness to put the weapons aside and fucking put your hands up, to be fucking 4 deep, to be down to fight a whole football team. Yo, I put this on everything. We squared up to these fools, and you could go ask a lot of these fools, because they were like the class of what, like 2004 or 5 football team. Not all of them, like it was like this certain white boys from there that were just like, I don't even know, they were on some fuck shit, and I don't know if they're cool now or what, but like, yo, we fucking were there. They're talking all this shit, and they're saying all this racist shit, and I was just like, damn, like, I'm not even Mexican, but it was like, you know what I'm saying? You're calling my homies beaners, and you're disrespecting the flag, da-da-da. Like, those are my brothers, bro. Like, obviously, I'm down to fucking, you know, potentially get fucked up out here for my boys, you know? So, oh, shit, the camera just died. So we just go and fucking, damn, hold on. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be right back. 1 minute here.
Damn,
sorry about that. Technical difficulties real quick. So anyway, picking up where we left off. We step out, fucking, I'm like, yo, my ex is sitting in the car just fucking terrified. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this was crazy. Like, I don't know if I got kicked out of school already or not. Like I said, I don't know if this was like right before or after I got kicked out of school. But okay, so yeah, so they're talking all this shit. We're standing there and we're like, what's up? Like, they're talking all this shit. And I don't really know what to say. You know, I'm just kind of standing there like, fuck, like, this is wild. And so I'm just ready to fucking go ham, dude. Like, this isn't the first time I fought a whole fucking, like, group or class worth of people. Like I said, me and my homie back in the day, we were in 3rd grade and we fought the entire 2nd grade. And this reminded me exactly of that. And I was just like, oh, we didn't fight the entire 2nd grade, but like, we fought a bunch of these fools because they were beating up our homie who didn't speak English. And that was kind of our vibe, was like, that was what our gangster was for, was to like help the less fortunate, you know, to protect ourselves. So we go and they're talking all this shit, and fucking, so my homie starts spitting on these fools because they're talking all this shit, but they won't step up. They literally like won't cross this line. There's like this sea of like people there, and they won't cross the fucking line. And like, I was tripped out. So I saw that they started spitting in their face, and I was like, damn. I was like, it's you know, like, it's really about to go down. Like, fuck, like, fuck. So I started tripping when I see that, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I was like, man, we're standing up for what's right, dude. Like, I don't give a fuck. And so I start spitting on these fools. I'm like, what's up? Like, what's up? And they're not doing shit. They're not doing anything. We kind of like, I remember I kind of like side-eyed a couple of the homies a couple times, like, yo, like, I can't believe nothing's happening. Like, we must look crazy to these people. Like, we must look absolutely crazy. Because it was like, well over 40 people standing there. But that's the thing, though, is when there's that many people, it gets lost in like half the people are there just spectate. Like, they're just hoping they don't have to back up their homie's homie or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're just hoping they don't have to do anything. So it's like, and I've experienced this a couple times. I don't recommend going and calling out groups of people because, you know, some people were fucking down, but it was like, these were chances we had to take growing up in the era and what was going on in my neighborhood. So, you know, and I was like, I could not believe it, dude. They did nothing. None of them did anything. They didn't do anything for so long that eventually fucking security came around and fucking, I was like, yo, like, you just hear, we fucking all hop in the whip, fucking dip out, dude. I had the fucking Isuzu Trooper at the time. That man, yeah, I was driving my mom's Isuzu Trooper, I think. It was 4-door. Everybody just fucking hopped in that bitch. We just dipped around. Fucking, I don't even remember where we went. I think we just went to the other side of school and fucking just posted up and acted like, oh, like, what's up? Or we went to the rec or something. I don't know. The rec was always a safe haven. Like, there's so many places you could go in and out of there that, like, you know what I'm saying? And, but that was the type of heart that Pablo had. It was like, he was that down. Like, he was that down. He was just such a protector. And I've told this story before too. It's like, one time these dudes were trying to bully my cousin, and I introduced Pablo to my cousin for the first time. We were all in high school still. And, I don't know if they were if people were threatening to try and take my cousin's shoes or some shit like that, or, you know, just general shit like bullying or punking or something. And I was like, yo, what the fuck? Like, hell no. So I introduced him because I had to smash. And, you know, so before I smashed out, I was like, all right, like, yo, this is my fucking cousin, blah, blah, blah. Like, and me and my cousin weren't close at this time. We just like had met like a handful of times at family parties. So it was just like, yo, this is my blood family. Like, we watch out for him. I don't even know. It doesn't even matter. Like, we watch out for each other. So Pablo comes up and he's like, hey, what's your name? Da, da, da. He's like, hey, I'm Pablo, blah, blah, blah. This is where I'm from. Pablo would say his set, did the whole thing. And he's like, what's up? He's like, hey, if anybody fucks with you, I got your back, homie. We're family now. And he fucking shakes his hand, gives him a hug, looks him in the eye, shakes his hand, like, we're family now. Like, I got your back. Anything you need. And it was just like, whoa. Like,
Damn, dude.
like, Pablo was a soldier for the right reasons, dude. Like, he would go. There was one time we were walking home from school, and the homie was gonna, like, somebody, like, beat up the homie's girlfriend or some shit. And it wasn't like one of our tight homies. It was like somebody we just kind of knew. But for Pablo, it didn't matter how tight your relationship was. It just mattered that you were doing the right thing. And so I remember one time we were walking home, and it was Pablo's, it's his third strike. Like, if he was on probation at the time, and like, if he didn't get home by fucking, what was curfew? Curfew at the time was like 6 o'clock for all the homies for some reason back in the day. Or it was either like 4 o'clock, 4:30, or 6 o'clock, or 6:30. And like, I remember that, like, all of a sudden, as soon as fucking 4 or 6 showed up, it was just like, boom, everybody disappeared. And it was like, everybody left who like didn't have a curfew or none of that shit. Like, and not a curfew from parents, but like curfew from the law, where you got to check in with your PO and all that shit. So, or your, what do they call them? They might have a different name. But basically your PO, if not that. So I remember one time, and it was his third strike too. Like, if he didn't show up, if he fucked up his agreement, he was going back to jail. It was like a no questions asked. Like, he was getting shipped away, and he's going to be up for a long time type of thing. And I remember we're walking, and the homie's like, man, I got to go fucking beat this fool's ass. He beat up my girl, blah, blah, blah. And we were just like, yo, bro, like, go handle your shit, man. And Pablo was like, I got your back, homie. And we're all walking home from school, like, Pablo. And I was trying to keep that fool in check as much as I could. I was like, bro. Oh, I didn't say bro back then. I probably said fool. You know you can't do this shit, dude. Like, you know this. And I don't know if it's a dude either. I probably said fool again. And he's just like, I remember we stopped. We were walking on we just crossed Mira Mesa Boulevard on Camino Ruiz. We were walking under the Wells Fargo drive-through right next to Carl's Jr. Because we were walking. We just walked up that little grassy hill, and then we're walking through the drive-through things on our way walking home, or, you know, to the library or rec or whatever. No, we were going home because he had to be home. So, and he lived right around the corner from me growing up. So, and half the time he lived with me too, actually. So, well, not half the time, but a good while Pablo lived with me. You know, we shared a room. We were like close like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we on some real brotherhood type shit. So we do that, or wait, what am I talking about? Oh, so we're walking, and I remember we stopped right under there. I was like, Puves, fool, you know you gotta go home. Like, you know you gotta check in, bro. You can't do this. And he stops, and he looks at me, and he's just like, homie, you know me. You know I got to. And there's just no hesitation. I was just like, how the fuck, dude? Like, my heart just shattered right there. I saw his heart shatter too. But at the same time, he's just like, this is what's right. Like, my somebody I'm cool with could potentially get hurt. And I won't allow that to happen. And I'm just like,
damn, dude.
Fuck, man. Fuck. I was like, I just remember I was like, please be safe, man. Like, please. And then I remember I get a call like later on in the evening, like, man, like, I'm either gonna smash out to Mexico. It's from a payphone, and it's him. He's like, bro, like, no, I say bro now. As much as I say bro and dude now, as much as I would say fool back in the day. So every time you hear me say bro or dude now in reference to an old story, replace it with fool. So he's just like, I'm just like, or he calls me, he's like, fool, like, I'm about to either, you know, he's just like, damn, homie, like, I'm about to fucking smash out to Mexico, or fucking, you know, or turn myself in. He's like, because if I smash out, then, like, I make everything worse, you know, and it's like, I don't know if I can ever come back if I do that. Like, it's going to have to be a long time before I could ever come back, at least, like, 5 years. He's like, I'm going to just keep going south or something, you know. He's like, I know spots, I know people, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know if he did or not, but he is a resourceful motherfucker, and by the impact and influence that he's made in this short amount of time, I definitely believe he knew people, because I was his like, me and him were closest homies, like, as we through our teen years. Like, he was my brother, like that. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, if we went hungry, we went hungry together. If I had $1, he had 50 cents and I had 50 cents. It was like, if fucking I had a shirt, then, you know, then we both had a shirt, you know, type of shit. And it was really, really like that. And where was I going with that? Yeah, so I remember he called me, he's just like, dude, like, I'm either about to turn myself in or fucking run. And I'm just like, fuck, man. Oh, what I was gonna side note real quick is we were that tight, and I've literally met people. I've met 3 different people that I've never met in my life that have tattoos for him, and like no other tattoos.
Damn, dude.
And think about this. He passed away when he was 20. Like, that's a big impact. Like, his underground impact that only gets acknowledgement through this and the stories that people, if they tell them, that's the only way the shit will live on. That's why I do this, and that's why I rep it so hard. It's because he made that impact, and it's like, this is the impact. What, he died in 2006, and it's 2021. 14 years later, and it's like, if that's the right math, then that's a motherfucking impact. You know what I'm saying?
Damn, dude.
So he fucking did that, and I remember he ended up coming back. I don't know if it was later that night or the next day. He turned himself in. He's like, I'm gonna just do what's right, man. Like, he's like, and I remember he's just like, man, like, I want what my grandma and my mom and my family would be proud of if they were in my position. He's like, he was like, that was his thing, was like, he wanted to make everybody proud all the time. And it was like, I don't know, man. It was crazy. A lot of times it was just misunderstood. And especially as I definitely get how it makes sense from like a parent or older, like, relative to a younger kid, how it would be tough to raise him, for sure. Like, without a doubt, I see that. And at the same time, being his homie in the street, he was doing what was good. All the things he got in trouble for was for good reasons. I promise you that. I put that on my kids. To the whole Tafolla family, I promise you that. He was always doing what was right, even if it caused him to get in trouble. And he was well aware of it, and he was conscious of it. And he said, you know what? It breaks my heart, and I have to do what's right. I have to. It was like his soul, like God, like, it was like he's a modern day warrior. And it was like, that was his assignment from God, was to be a modern day superhero. That's Pablo. God assigned him to be a modern day superhero for the people who couldn't protect themselves in the streets, at the sacrifice of him getting in trouble, of him getting locked away, of him getting looked down on, for him, looking like a bad kid or whatever it is. He was doing what was right.
Damn, dude.
And the craziest thing is, like I said, Pablo was ahead of his time. He would do the craziest shit, and I mean that in a great way, like hilarious things. He would just, I am not joking at all. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding at all when I tell you, he would literally roll up to random people's houses and start mowing their lawns until they would come outside and be like, hey, like, what are you doing? I didn't pay for this. And he's just like, nah, it's all good. I'm just your local neighborhood beaner, just giving out free lawn mowings. And they would be like, what? I swear to God, on everything, I swear on my kids, the true story. It wasn't like he did this once and I'm telling one story. He would go to all the homies' parents' houses. He would go to around the fucking neighborhood, to random ass strangers' houses. He would do this to whoever the fuck. Like, I'm not even kidding. Hey, I'm just your local friendly neighborhood beaner. Like, I was word for word. He would say that shit. He would wave at him and be like, hey, and then be like, why are you doing this? He'd be like, cause I'm Mexican, fool. And they'd be like, no, really? He's like, yeah, really? It was like I'm not exaggerating one bit. If anything, I'm undertelling and selling the story by a lot. Like, he would walk around the neighborhood. There was countless times he would pull up in random homies' trucks. He pulled up with skins. He pulled up with, I don't remember, he pulled up with tea bags one time, just hop out of the truck with a lawnmower. You're like, who's mowing our lawn? And you just walk outside and there's fucking like gangster ass dude mowing your lawn, like being just cracking up. Like, he's just dying laughing. And he like, I never knew why it was so funny to him. Like, I mean, I guess I do. That's pretty fucking funny. But like, how much enjoyment he got out of doing shit like that was so funny. Keep in mind, this is the same guy who just said, I have to do it, homie. You know who I am. You know how I roll. Like, and fucking got himself sent away for a couple of years after that shit. You know what I'm saying? This is the same guy. Fucking one time, my parents got gifted some like tickets to some motorcycle races at like the Del Mar Fair or some shit, like at the racetrack. And it was like those those cafe racer type bikes where they just kind of like drift in a circle. And it's like, it's cool for a couple minutes and it's kind of boring. Like, I'm a huge motorsports enthusiast. Like, I love motorcycles, and like even that gets kind of boring too after a little while. It's like the crashes are like the highlights, or the crazy passes, or like the crazy saves. Like, that's my favorite part of the whole thing, you know? So we went there, and this fool, we're sitting there, and I'd never been to this shit. And he looks at me like, he's just like, hey, fool. Or no, he always said homie. Like, he's like, hey, homie, this some white people shit. And I was like, he's like, like he had the, I can't do it. He had this loud laugh that he would do, or just like, like out loud, just like type of like in his own version type of laugh. And then he was like, but I just remember he's like, hey, homie, this some crazy ass white people shit. And he's just cracking up, and he's like, I like this white people shit. And I was
Damn, dude.
like, it was just so funny, dude. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you get that era of humor and that type of shit, it's like, you get it. You know, it's not on some racist type shit. It was just like, damn, there's really some white people shit. Like, pumpkin spice is some white people shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just one of those sorts of things. So, whatever. If you're offended, that's... Go listen to earlier shows where some of the life lessons, where some of the things where people shared life lessons and whatnot. Might help out a little bit. But what was trippy was like, the biggest thing I learned and was gifted from Pablo's passing was purpose. I learned purpose. I found my purpose. I started discovering and searching and seeing purpose. I started thinking about it. I started just being like, whoa, hold on. What am I doing with my life? You know, I started not looking at money, because there was a point during his funeral service when we were at the Mormon church part of the funeral service, because it was a long thing. We did a whole gang of different things all over. But when we were at the Mormon church in Mira Mesa, that ceremony, fucking packed house, dude. Like the service, all the amount of people that showed up, the whole thing was out the door. His whole funeral, the whole lawn was filled. The whole place was just filled with people, dude. Like, his impact was crazy. But at his funeral, his uncle, he had said something to the effect of, I don't want to butcher this, because I was thinking of one specific thing, but the other part of it popped up, which kind of makes it make more sense. First he had started off saying something like, you know, the type of gift and gifts that Pablo left us wasn't material. The type of gifts he left us didn't exist in a physical nature. The type of gift he brought us was himself, his authenticity, his realness. And to know Pablo is to see him interact with children and to see him play with kids. Because that's when the real Pablo like really shines. That's who he is at his core. When you see that innocence come out, when you see like one of the toughest people I've been to jail for years, been in the streets just going in and out. Seen the craziest shit. Had his best friend die in his arms when he was a kid. To see him go down and play jets and play cars and play make-believe and to just shut out all the rest of the adult world and all the stigmas of being a gangster and all the stigmas of being cool and anything that society thinks about. To not give a fuck and just get down and play fucking jets, tigers, trains. Literally like rolling around on the floor just acting silly. That was to know and see the real Pablo. And it was in that moment I gained my purpose. I started searching. I started being like, oh my God, the answer is kids. The answer is in kids. How can I help kids? What can I do to help kids? Like, what can I do? Like, holy shit, that's the answer. And I realized in that moment that I skipped my whole childhood and I didn't experience that part. I went and I was doing shit physically so extreme and beyond what I needed to be doing as a kid. Literally doing thousands of push-ups, doing crazy jumps that didn't make sense on my bike, like doing shit that like was so extreme just to have some sort of sense of worth, because I had no social skills. I had no school intellectual skills. I had no fucking, I just felt broken. My childhood was over. I decided in first grade when I was standing at my sister's casket, like, I decided it was over. I decided my childhood was over. And in that moment when I heard that and I felt that, it's like, oh my God, how can I help the kids? Is I need to discover that inner child for myself. And that's when I dedicated my life to fucking helping teach babies how to save their lives in the water. It's been 11 years now. It took time to get started and going and to direct that purpose in an exact particular way. But I was trying to be a firefighter before that. I broke my skull, neck, and back. Got, dropped out of school, got fired from my job, that whole shit. Broke up with my ex, the whole thing. But what I learned in that moment was, instead of fucking killing myself, instead of harming myself, I realized that, damn, two of my best friends got murdered. Rest in peace, John O'Day. Rest in peace, John William O'Day. And I'm like, fuck. I used to have conversations with different homies about, like, fuck, are we gonna make it past 20? And two of my best friends get murdered at 20, and I'm standing there at 20 years old, like I'm fucking alive. What the fuck?
Damn, dude.
We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna be right back here, guys. All right, what up, everybody? Welcome back. Damn, man. And like I said, I kept it solid with you guys. There's been no real fucking commercials except other shit that I might have randomly talked about that I really fucking believe in or some shit, you know what I'm saying? That's not even, I would have talked about it anyways type of shit. So we're 52 episodes in, and I have not wasted you guys' time with any bullshit advertisements. To turn a quick buck off of this, I'm in this for the long run. So I'm not selling out small, and I'm not selling out big. And that's where I'm like, dude, I realize that this show and my voice is speaking to younger kids now, it's speaking to teens. And that fucking is crazy to me, because I never thought it would go that way. And all of a sudden, once teenagers start listening, it's a wrap, dude. Like they have your back, or they fucking shit on you. And in order to get even a little bit of play from teenagers, I feel that's the greatest acknowledgement that I could get. That's the greatest to me. Holy fuck, that's beyond. I honestly did not think teenagers would listen to the shit I'm saying. Why? I don't know, because I feel like it was impossible. Like, that's hard to do, man, to get teenagers to listen. I'm not saying, oh yeah, I'm fucking blah blah blah, but I'm saying, like, I have a handful of teenagers who I know, or I have a handful of people who I know are teenagers and that do listen to the show and are like, whoa, like, this is the truth. This shit's tight. And I'm preaching positivity, and I'm not preaching it, but I'm putting positivity out there, and I'm encouraging it, and I'm encouraging open conversations, and I'm encouraging vulnerability, because this whole hurting yourself thing, killing yourself thing, that ain't it. That's not it. That's selfish as fuck. It really is. And it's like, oh, that's why I'm going to do it. It's like, nah, fuck you. Don't do that shit. Stand up for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, have some balls, have some guts, whatever the fuck wordage you like to use. You know what I'm saying? Do that. You know what I mean? So I realized that aside from teaching babies, helping teenagers get through teenagehood is a big fucking thing. Now, I have no other qualifications other than I lived a crazy ass fucking life. And I've worked with kids, and if you really listen to some of the complicated ass ideas that I've been able to simplify, I think is genius. That's why I put it out there. That me personally, I'm not calling myself a genius, but I'm calling some of these things genius. Some of the things that have happened and some of the things that I've been able to overcome, I think is genius, because previously and prior to that, I thought it was impossible. So that's just kind of where I have faith in myself again, is like, yo, like, if I thought some of these things were impossible and I've been able to accomplish it, holy fuck, I didn't think I would make it past 20. I didn't think I would ever experience what it was like to have fun again. I didn't think I would ever experience happiness again. I didn't think I would experience any of that. You know, all these little bookmarks and benchmarks that I set for myself when I was a kid and younger, like, oh, I'm going to have kids by the time I'm this old. I'm going to do this by the time, blah, blah, blah. It actually, in weird ways, kind of turned out where that happened for me. But this is the thing, is like, if you believe in shit all the way and you work to do the work, it'll show up. For example, I always wanted a kid by the time I was like 20. And my oldest son, I met him when he was 8 or 9. 8 or 9. I always get this messed up. He always tells me 9. I always say 8. I don't know why the discrepancy, but we should probably trust his numbers more than mine. But anyway, he's born in 2005, and I'm like, dude, like, that's crazy, because that was around the age I wanted to have kids. And I'm like, dude, I missed that opportunity, but it came back. I was like, holy shit, because even after it happened, for some reason, I deemed it impossible, and I never thought it to be in this scenario possible, but it is, and it is. So that's where I'm like, hold on, I still kind of never gave up that dream, which was weird. And then at the same time, when I would go and visit Pablo and my sister Winky at the cemetery, I would pass this gravestone, and it said Calvin Royal. And I'm like, I've never seen my name on a gravestone. Trippy. And then I was like, Royal? I didn't even know you could be named that. That's fucking sick as fuck. So I was like, I'm going to one day have a kid. I'm going to have a son named Royal. And then it got asked me, would you have a daughter? Would you name her? I was like, fuck, Royal works for a daughter too, actually. Like, that's a badass name. So, you know, it's a trip. Like, I really found my purpose through his life, his entire life. And at the end, some of my earliest memories of like starting to feel peace about the whole thing was like in that church right there when his uncle said that, or when he said those things. Just his whole speech was just phenomenal, man. Fuck, man. That moment, and then at first his little nephew or nephew or cousin, it's kind of all the same when you're like family. uh, I remember put this little jet on his tombstone, and I remember seeing that jet. I remember seeing him play with it with him, like at the house and stuff, and I just seeing that jet there just fucked me up and in a good way. Really in an interesting, good way. It's a trip, dude. Man. So, like, Pablo's death really began my journey of healing. And by healing, what I mean is what my life looked like when I say I started healing was my friends were murdered, my girl got pregnant by someone else, I got fired from my job, I dropped out of school, and pretty much my career is over. And I had a broken skull, neck, and back in 8 places. And I wasn't even supposed to be able to walk or talk again. So, and I got no more fucking money. Like, disability, they weren't paying me shit. I was getting paid like $750 a month. It was like, if even that. No, I think that was before tax even. I was getting paid like $400. Like, it sucked, dude. It hella sucked. But like, kind of going back, seeing, there's just so many memories. It's like, I feel like there's memories that like is so sentimental, but like if I share it, it doesn't really like paint any pictures, just random shit, but like, what was trippy and kind of what my point was when I remember seeing him playing with nephews or random family members, kids or friends, little brothers or sisters or whatever. It was such a trip because most people, especially at that time, were way too cool or unsure of themselves to just kind of like break that mold and break that weirdness and yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna just go play roll around on the floor and play fucking, trains or, superheroes or whatever. And to see the most down ass dude I know, like nobody's harder than Pablo. There's no question about it. Nobody's harder than Pablo. To see him like go and play like a kid like that, it just blew my mind.
Damn, dude.
Because I was like, what am I looking at? And now that I look back after all these fucking years of learning and all this crazy shit I've done and gone through and whatever, I realized what I was looking at was I was seeing and experiencing duality in real time, in real life.
Damn, dude.
Like, that's crazy, dude. When you really first start experiencing and understanding duality, it's a mind fuck, and then it makes so much sense. But when you're confused about duality while it's happening, it's hard to fucking grasp what's going on. And it's crazy because that's almost like what attraction is. It's like people who live in dualities often seem to come off as more attractive people because it adds this like mystique to them in their life and their way of being. So it's interesting, and it's like attractive whether, you're like physically attracted or it's just attractive as like a friend or a cool person or something. Like, I just remember I was like, it was weird because I think what the attraction to Pablo for most people, and they didn't realize it was trust. Because you saw that vulnerability and you're like, whoa, like that, but the duality was just too much for people, and it would fuck with people because all the trouble he was getting in was always for good reasons. So it's like, how do you wrap your mind around, your friend, your family, your kid, your whatever, getting in all this trouble and you just want to see them do good? But it's like when somebody has has a warrior context on life, like I'm a protector, I'm a provider, it's just different, and their soul, his heart and soul was that, you know. And it's like, for those of you who are unsure of what duality is, like, for one, go look it up, but two, it's like yin and yang. It is yin and yang. It's like inside all the light that can possibly be, there has to be some dark, and inside all the dark there has to be light. And not that there has to be, but that there always will be. So that's why it's like, no matter how great we succeed, there's always going to be something to test us, and it has to be there. And it's going to feel like, why the fuck can't you just let me succeed? Why can't you just let me win? But it's like, no, it will always remain. But that's the thing, is, are you going to focus on the black dot inside of all the light, or are you going to focus on just that little dark inside of all the light? It's your choice. Or if you're in all the dark, are you going to focus on that little light? Because that little light can remind you of the light, which can bring you back to the all light. But the light will remind you that there's a dark, and then the dark has to remind you that there's light, and it's an infinite cycle, and it will always go. So this is why I personally believe it's so important to understand duality, because that's what allows you to feel sad when you're supposed to be sad, feel upset when you're supposed to be upset, and still say you're a happy person by the end of the day.
Damn, dude.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what being a happy person is knowing how to feel sad and when to feel sad. How to feel sad responsibly. When, you know, like, that's my take on it. And when somebody who's a warrior, and in this day we call it, you know, in that time, in this time, we call it being a fucking gangster, being a G. Like, Pablo was that. You can't try to be what he was. You can't try to do what he did. Because that moment of hesitation, nah, he didn't have that. He didn't have that. Pablo didn't have that hesitation. No matter what. It was crazy, dude. Like, I cannot wrap my mind. Like, he was just on a whole nother level, dude. Like, I don't know. Like, it's weird, dude. It was almost like he had this, like, spiritually enlightened nature about him. It was so weird, because, and it was like, he always fought for what's right. He was never bullying. He was never just picking fights to pick fights. Like, when Pablo was gangbanging, when he started his own crew, his own clique in Mecca Town, dude, he literally went up to all the OGs in every single set. Blood, Crib, SA, fucking whatever. Anybody who was within proximity, he went up to all the OGs by his damn self. And if you know what I'm talking about, you understand how fucking respectable that is. He didn't tell anybody. He literally went up to every single OG, walked past everybody talking shit, fucking woofing at him, blah, blah, blah. How Puves used to, like, tell stories. He'd be like, yeah, and then this fool's like, da-da-da, like, whoop-de-woo, blah, 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 whoop-de-woo. Like, he talked like an old school, gangster from down here. And he was always with the, yeah, like, whoop-de-woo. I fucking love the way he talked. It was so sick. He was just, oh man, he would be like the perfect voice actor soundbite. Like, he has the sickest fucking voice, dude. I gotta find old videos and ways to play him or something where he's on there, man. I know we have a desert trip recorded somewhere, and it was crazy because like I was saying, his Gangster was a means. It was used as a means for doing good, and it was used as a means to protect people, and it was used as a means to protect others and to protect himself, and it was used as an outlet of expression. You know, he was really able to express himself through his just ability to be like, man, fuck it, I don't give a fuck. And it's like, what I mean by that is, like, he was gangster about playing with kids. He went all the way. You know, you replace a gangster with down as fuck, or fucking really about it, or, you know, whatever fuck terminology you use. About it, rowdy, rowdy, about it. But it's like he was always getting in trouble for good reasons. And I know that's hard for a lot of people to wrap their mind around, but it's like literally like kid getting stuffed in a trash can. He pulled him out and fought fucking 6 people for that kid. This kid bought him and us lunch whenever we pleased, just because like, bro, like I owe you for life. Like nobody else was doing anything except laughing at me. And it was this small ass kid who couldn't do anything for himself. You know, his name was Werewolf Kid, and he was getting picked on a lot. And some kids were putting him in a trash can at school, and fucking Puves was like, nah, fuck no. And literally went and fought like 6 people because that's not right. And I was like, damn, like that's who he was. And it was like, it was that type of shit. Cause we were still in the old school days where it was like, we grew up where kids would get swirlies, and it was like, you would legit, you know, have a fist fight if you had a disagreement, and it wasn't a bad thing. You know, it's like you meet at the fucking rec, you know, or fucking you meet at Mason and you can handle your business. Or behind the bungalows or whatever, you know, it depends how big or small the whole thing was and how hyped it was or not. And man, he was a legend. He left a legacy. And that's really what I want understood, is the legacy of Juan Pablo Tafolla. You are a fucking legend, brother. You're so loved. You're so missed, man. And to tie this all together, why Pablo had to die was to teach all these lessons and to give the gift of helping children on a greater reach than he was even able to, reach on his own. So we're just going to keep doing this for you, Pablo. Fucking love you, Puves. Man, I wish you could meet my kids, but it's like, I know, you know, like I said, I know all the spiritual shit. I already know the deal. And I fucking love you, homie. Much love, man. Stay up, everybody. Appreciate each other. Say 3 things you're grateful for every morning and every night. It'll change your life dramatically. Do that shit for 3 months. I promise you, dude. So, and don't stop. Much love. Rooster Tail, take us out. Peace. Oh, oops.
Damn, dude.